What if having more fun wasn't a distraction from your success? What if joy, rest, laughter, time with friends, being outside, taking that trip, enjoying the long weekend, what if they were actually part of what helps you become healthier, more grounded, more creative, and more fulfilled? Because I think somewhere along the way, many of us started to believe that success has to feel heavy, that if we're working hard enough, well, we probably should be exhausted. And that if we're really serious about our goals, fun, well, it just has to wait. But with the long holiday weekend just a few days away, I want to offer you a different thought. Maybe this weekend isn't just the kickoff to summer. Maybe it's your invitation to come back to living a joyful life. Hi there, welcome back to You Can Emerge Positive. I'm Deanne, and I work with women who are in the middle of their life, help them realize it's not too late, help them find the direction of where they want to go, and show them the way to get there. Now, today we're talking about something that sounds light, but is actually very deeply important, and we're talking about fun, joy, downtime, laughter, connection, and why these things are not extras that you get to enjoy, just every once in a while, but they're actually part of a healthy, meaningful, and successful life. And the timing of this episode is very intentional because Memorial Day is just a few days away. And of course, Memorial Day itself is a meaningful and solemn holiday. It's a day to honor and remember the men and women who have given their lives in service to our country. And I never want to lose sight of that. But culturally, it's also seen as kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer. It is the first long weekend where people gather, they travel, you barbecue, go to the beach, you are outside, you reconnect with family and friends, and you breathe a little. And I think it makes it the perfect time to ask yourself, am I making space for joy in my life? Not someday or when everything calms down or when the work is done, but now. Because joy is not frivolous. Fun is not selfish. And downtime is not lazy. It may actually be the part that helps you emerge positive. So many of us were raised with the idea that success requires sacrifice. And of course, success does require effort. It requires discipline and focus and showing up when things are hard. But somewhere along the way, that message can become distorted. We start believing that success means we're exhausted and that we're always available and we're working 12-hour days and that fun comes later. Success means that rest has to be earned. And I think a lot of women in midlife where they're feeling that belief, because by this stage of our life, we've carried a lot. You've carried a career, marriage, parenting, aging parents, health challenges, financial responsibilities, households, and expectations. Often we're so good at being responsible that we forget how to be alive inside of our own lives. Sometimes the problem isn't that your life is empty, it's that your joy has been pushed to the back burner for far too long. And I'll be honest, I've been feeling pretty depleted in the fun department. Life has been pretty full and heavy over these last few years, and fun can become the thing that, I'll get to later. I know I've done that, but I know better, and I know you do too. So, this is where I want to be really clear. This is not just a cute idea. There's real research behind the value of enjoyment and leisure. There's this one comprehensive study by the Psychosomatic Medicine Journal, and they looked at nearly 1,400 adults and found that people who participated in enjoyable leisure activities far more had better markers of overall well-being. And those included lower blood pressure, lower cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, better perceived physical health, higher positive mood, higher life satisfaction, and lower levels of depression and negative emotions. Wow, that matters. It's telling us something important. Fun is not just emotional, it's physical. Joy affects the body. Connection affects the body, and downtime affects the body in a very positive way. Your nervous system knows when you are constantly pushing, and it also knows when you're allowing yourself to just breathe and relax. So, having fun is not a luxury, it is a science-backed strategy for your health and well-being. I'm going to say that again. Having fun is not a luxury. It is a science-backed strategy for your health and well-being. So that brings us back to this weekend. For many people, you have a long weekend, you have at least a day off, and it feels like the beginning of summer. The days are getting longer, the weather is finally getting warmer, people are gathering, there's food and family and friends and all of the fun things that come with this holiday weekend. And I want you to use it for more, though, than just a long weekend. Use it as a reset point. Ask yourself, how do I want this summer to feel? What do I want to make time for? Who do I want to spend time with? Where do I want to go? What helps me feel light again? And what have I been postponing that would bring me joy? Because this is the thing, just like with life, summer can just fly by. And if you're not intentional about getting something on the calendar and actually doing some of these things, the summer's going to come to a close and you're not going to have done any of them. So I could speak for that myself. Don't wait for life to slow down before you decide to enjoy it. We all know how it works. Time just flies. Labor Day will be here before you know it. So be intentional. Start really thinking about how you want to spend and be in your summer this year. And then do it. A lot of high achievers say that balance is impossible, between work and fun and play. And I understand why they say that. I mean, life is not always perfectly balanced. Some seasons require more energy in one area over another. In fact, I think that's always the case. But I don't think that means that we give up on the idea of having balance completely. Maybe balance is not about having everything equal. Maybe it's just being honest about what matters, about what's missing, and about what's costing you too much. Honest about the kind of life that you're building. Jeff Bezos has talked a lot about this in like the work-life harmony and the idea that your work life and your personal life are connected. They're not separate. Some people are like they try and keep those separate. He believes that they're all kind of in one sphere. Bill Gates has a different view, and he has spoken about regretting not making more time for personal relationships in his career. And then there's a different view here of the concept of the law of least effort. And that idea is when we release some of the resistance and the stress and the forcing to make things happen, that we can actually move forward with better ease and things will just happen. I love that idea. And for women in midlife, that's an important shift because we don't want to just achieve more, we want to live better. The goal is not to build a successful life that you're too depleted to actually enjoy. This is also connected to the growing conversation around longevity. It seems like everyone is talking about that now. And food matters, movement matters, sleep definitely matters, but so does the social connection, the outdoor activity, the laughter, and joy. And I think this is especially important at this time of life because this is often the stage where social connections start to shift because our lives are shifting, right? Your kids are growing up, careers are changing or coming to a close, marriages are evolving, friendships change, parents are aging, your body is changing, and your priorities are changing. And it can be easy to become more isolated without even realizing it. I know my husband and I talk about this a lot, where we recognize that as we're getting older, that we're definitely becoming more island based, if you will. We're like at home more. We're not out as in social as we used to be when we were younger. And we're being very thoughtful about this next phase of our life. Where do we want to be? Who do we want to be around? Do we want to be in a community of sorts where there's activities? Or just do we want to be in a walkability area? It's something to really, really think about as you get older because it matters. It matters for your overall well being in your later years. And frankly, now. It is a lot about connection, a lot about vitality, and it's about remembering who you are outside of your responsibilities. It's about creating a life that doesn't just function, but it actually feels good. That's what you want. Joy is not separate from your well being, joy is part of it. Joy is absolutely part of it. So here's the practical part. Fun usually doesn't just show up on your calendar. You have to plan for it. And I know that sounds very unromantic, planning fun, but honestly, it works. You can schedule meetings, appointments, deadlines, workouts, and all your obligations. You can also schedule joy. A few simple ways to start doing that is plan your vacations when you plan your year. Sit down and look at what is the time off that I'm going to take this year and start getting excited about what you're going to do in that time off. And even if you don't have all the details figured out, just choose the window, declare the trip, put it on the calendar because if you don't, it's not going to happen. And no one ever has the money just sitting around easily to go on a vacation, right? You have to just plan it. Put the stake in the ground and then go and do it. It is important. There's never a perfect time. So, schedule the monthly fun, schedule your trips, pick 1 or 2 days a month and block them off for fun. A farmer's market, a hike, live music, a spa day, love that, a beach day, dinner with friends, going to a museum, doing a day trip somewhere, just even taking a slow morning with no responsibilities except your coffee. The point is it doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate. The point is it just has to be intentional. Planning for joy is not overthinking fun, it's prioritizing yourself. So, this is where I want to bring us back to the bigger picture because this is not just about having a fun weekend this upcoming weekend, it's about designing your next decade. If you're in midlife, this is a powerful time to ask, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? What have I outgrown? What have I been tolerating? What have I been postponing? What makes me feel alive? And what am I willing to make space for right now in my life? Because so many women wait. They wait until the kids are older, or till the work slows down, or till the house is settled. They wait until the weight is gone. They wait until retirement. They wait until everyone else is okay. But your life is happening right now. And fun is one of the ways to come back to ourselves. You don't need to earn joy by exhausting yourself first. So, with Memorial Day weekend just a few days away, I want to give you a simple challenge. Yes, honor the meaning of the holiday. Pause, remember, and be grateful. And also allow yourself to enjoy the life that you're living. Gather with the people you love. Go outside, laugh, rest, eat the meal, take the walk, sit in the sunshine, say yes to the invitation, and create one. Before the weekend ends, ask yourself, what is one fun thing that I want to schedule for June? What is one person I want to connect with? What is a one experience that I want to have this summer? And what is one way I can make joy a priority again? Not someday, this season, this month, this week. Let this long weekend be the beginning of a more joyful summer and maybe even a more intentional life. So, as we head into Memorial Day weekend, I want to leave you with this. Yes, success matters and growth matters, discipline matters, the goals, they matter. But so does joy. So does laughter. So does friendship. And so does rest. So does being outside. So does feeling alive in your own life. Fun is not the opposite of success. Fun may actually help fuel it. So take this as your sign, schedule something fun, reach out to a friend, book the trip, and say yes to joy. Let this weekend remind you that your life is not something you're supposed to just manage. It's something that you're here for, and you're supposed to live it and live it fully. You can emerge positive. Thank you so much for coming and listening. I'll see you next Wednesday and make this weekend fun. Enjoy every moment, be intentional, and live big. I'll see you next week.